just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg. You see her immediately grab it. And she went down hard and was clearly in a lot of pain.
Sophie Cunningham went down after a brutal knee collision, and fans, including her own family, instantly called out the officiating for failing to protect players. To many, it felt like another chapter in a disturbing trend: the groin shot that sidelined Caitlin Clark, the eye poke from J.C. Sheldon, Marina Mabrey's reckless foul. Every battle with the Sun seems to leave a Fever player hurting, and frustration is boiling over. But instead of folding, Indiana fought back. Behind Kelsey Mitchell's career-high 38 points, Odyssey Sims stepping in on a hardship contract, and Lexie Hull's clutch 3, the Fever stormed to a 99-93 overtime comeback no one expected. The question now: how did this team flip the script after such a disastrous first half? If you're rooting for Sophie and the Fever, drop a speedy recovery wish in the comments below. Let's go!
Shot clock down to 6 for the Fever. Turner, up fade, Turner kicks it, Hull three-pointer, bottom!
Indiana.
7 on the shot clock, 25 seconds in regulation.
They gotta get to the rim.
Charles has to hoist and connects. Wow. The Indiana Fever prove their resiliency.
Fever down! Up in the chat. Yeah.
For Indiana, the problems started long before tip-off. The Fever entered the game without all three of their natural point guards. Caitlin Clark was still sidelined by the groin injury from mid-July, Sydney Colson was out with a torn ACL, and Ari McDonald continued recovering from a broken foot. That left the roster without a true floor general, forcing coach Stephanie White to completely rewire the offense. Instead of polishing sets like most playoff contenders, Indiana had to shrink the playbook and lean on simplified actions that wouldn't overwhelm players suddenly handling the ball out of position.
After Phoenix, it was a quick turnaround to figure out, how we're going to play without, Ari and Sid. And now we got to figure out how we're going to play without Soph. And we've got to figure out, who can play in certain roles. What are our substitution patterns going to be? What kind of wrinkles can we throw out there? It doesn't get easier. And I think we come back and have Minnesota twice, right? So it's really good mentally, physically, and emotionally for us. And then it gives us practice time, which we're going to need.
The challenge only grew once play began. Midway through the second quarter, Sophie Cunningham banged knees under the rim and lasted barely 10 minutes before being forced out for good. Her toughness and perimeter shooting had been central to White's patchwork rotation. Losing her stripped the Fever of bodies and crucial spacing, the lifeblood of their offense. Suddenly, players were asked to take on minutes and roles they weren't ready for, while White's staff scrambled to balance matchups, energy, and survival. By halftime, rotations were paper thin, and the Fever were plugging leaks wherever they opened.
We got Sophie Cunningham writhing around in pain, definitely hurt, and Sophie's one tough cookie. If Sophie's kicking and screaming like this, no Will Farrell. She's in pain. We even have Connecticut Sun players, look at that, Connecticut Sun players, Connecticut Sun training staff coming up to her as the Fever starts making their way down.
On paper, everything screamed blowout. But instead of unraveling, the Fever turned the chaos into fuel, proving that reduced numbers didn't mean reduced fight. It was survival mode, but also a statement. What nobody in the arena realized was that the night's hardest moment was still to come when Cunningham's brutal collision not only shook Indiana's lineup, but reignited fury over how the game was being officiated.
Every day in our huddle, that's what we say together. And it's just more than words for us. I think when you see things happening, there's no other way. If you spread apart, the season goes down quicker than anything else. And we talk about with the injuries, people are probably expecting us to just fold, just like you said, and that's not us. We come in the locker room and we're motivated. We continue to be motivated every single time we step on that floor. At halftime, we were motivated, chip away, and that's our mindset. And just continue to uplift people. When one person goes down, we say it all the time, the next woman stands up. And that's really just been our motto and been what we've had to do a lot this season, and that's what we're just going to continue to do.
The defining moment came midway through the second quarter when Sophie Cunningham went down in one of the scariest scenes of the season. On a drive, Bria Hartley lost her balance and crashed directly into Cunningham's right knee. The arena froze. Cunningham clutched her leg, screaming as she crumpled to the court. She couldn't put weight on it and had to be helped off by trainers, with the team later confirming she would undergo an MRI. No foul was called on the play, and that decision instantly lit up outrage across the arena and online.
How does she magically lower her shoulder into Sophie Cunningham's legs? Can somebody please explain that to me? Can somebody please explain those physics? Again, don't want to hear it, because this is a dirty play.
Fans reacted immediately, standing, waving at refs, shouting for a stoppage as Cunningham lay in agony under the basket. The game continued as she remained on the floor, fueling anger not only in the stands but on Indiana's bench. Their starter had to be carried away, and still there was no whistle. After the game, Coach Stephanie White admitted her first reaction to seeing Cunningham in that much pain was blunt and unfiltered.
You have an update on Sophie? Yeah. Yeah, MRI tomorrow.
Sorry, just quickly on Sophie. I mean, what's going through your mind when you see her down like that, and you're jogging over there?
I'm like, holy shit. I mean, especially the way that she fell and, how she was holding herself and how much pain she was in. At the time, it's like crap. And then you go down there and you see her and it's like, okay, just want her to calm down and be able to.
For many fans, this wasn't just bad luck. Against the Sun, it felt like the latest entry in a troubling pattern. The eye poke by J.C. Sheldon on Caitlin Clark back in June. Marina Mabrey's hard foul that dropped Clark. Sheldon's knee to Clark's groin on July 15, the injury that has sidelined her for over a month. Those plays were widely labeled reckless, and many wondered why the league hadn't enforced stricter discipline. Against that backdrop, Cunningham's collapse didn't look like an accident. To them, it looked like another star left exposed while the league failed to act.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness. Should be. Scary moment as we went to commercial. Sophie Cunningham hit the floor hard and she is being helped off the floor, heading back to the locker room.
Emotions only escalated when Cunningham's family spoke out. Her sister Lindsay posted directly at the WNBA, "Maybe you should focus less on fining players for criticizing poor officiating and more on hiring refs who can call a consistent game and protect your athletes." Pathetic. Praying for you. That wasn't just a frustrated fan, it was family calling out the league. Meanwhile, Sophie's mother Paula shared a since-deleted post accusing Hartley of playing mean and out of control. Their words shaped perception of the play and amplified the belief that players aren't being protected.
Bria Hartley deserves zero benefit of the doubt. And Sophie Cunningham's family not too happy. I believe this is Mama C. Hartley is a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes. She's playing mean and plays out of control. Looked out of control to me. Maybe you should focus, her sister. Maybe you should focus less on fining players for commenting on your poor officiating and more about hiring officials that are capable to call a consistent game and protect your athletes. Pathetic. Praying for you. The only good thing positive surrounding Sophie Cunningham come out of this game, she looked in good spirits in the locker.
At the center of all this was accountability. Hartley already had a reputation for on-court clashes, and her involvement only fueled the fire. Fans accused her of recklessness and demanded suspension, while others pushed for the league to review officiating standards entirely. The lack of a whistle on Cunningham's injury made frustration boil over. That shift was key. It meant the game wouldn't be decided by sympathy or the refs finally stepping up, it would be decided by Indiana's ability to channel raw emotion into resilience. And all of that intensity soon funneled through one player whose takeover would change not only this game, but the Fever's trajectory.
I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you too. Proud of you. I'm so proud of you guys. I know that sometimes it sounds like just a word when we talk about being resilient, but it's not, man. It's how we live. It's how y'all live, and it's a tribute to you It's a tribute to your connectedness, your togetherness, your toughness, your mindset. You never give up gritty attitudes. Like, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. And
Kelsey Mitchell answered the chaos with one of the most explosive scoring runs in Fever history. She looked quiet before halftime with just 4 points. But after the break, everything flipped. She demanded the ball, attacked every defender, and by the final buzzer had dropped 38 points, tying her career high and setting the league's top scoring mark this season. Even more staggering, 34 came after halftime, including 10 in overtime when Indiana needed them most.
An assassin, Kelsey Mitchell, has a new career high. Backdoor Mitchell bouncing in the paint for 2. Kelsey Mitchell, the big is matched up. Mitchell squeezing through for 2 at the foul. Fouls on the other end. It's Mitchell launching it.
Her efficiency matched her volume. Mitchell shot 11-4-22 from the floor, 5 of 8 from 3, and 11 of 12 at the line, while also dishing 6 assists to keep the offense from collapsing into ISO plays. Each basket carried extra weight with the margin razor thin. Down 21 earlier, one wasted trip could have flipped momentum back to Connecticut. Instead, she delivered step-back jumpers in the fourth, back-to-back threes to erase deficits, and clutch free throws that sealed overtime. This wasn't wild gunning, it was calculated execution under immense pressure.
Your New England Ford dealers and the Ford Bronco family goat modes, the official SUVs of the Connecticut Sun. Mitchell connects.
Reading the defense and reckless closeout, so you have to make sure you let the shooter land here. Landing space needs to happen. Looks like Mitchell also clutching her leg here as well.
Record phone side review. If it is, it's going to be 2 to make 1. Okay, go take 1 in.
Afterward, Coach Stephanie White admitted she was almost speechless, saying Mitchell had put us on her back, big shot after big shot, big play after big play. From the sideline, it looked that way to everyone. Even the Suns defenders, who spent the entire second half draped all over her, couldn't break the rhythm she was locked into. By overtime, there was no question whose game this had become.
Kelsey, your second half, you did 34 of your points just now.
Damn!
The last after halftime, what took over you? How did you get it done on the floor?
I think it was more about what we did from a standpoint of like the mindset and the mentality from half to half. It sucked for me first half. It just wasn't, and I think that, it wasn't as well for our group, but the resiliency is true in our room. Seeing Soph go down and then knowing what happened with Sid and then knowing what happened with Ari and then knowing what happened with Cece, it's like, I think a lot of it was just God and being able to like stay prepared and stay in your mental state to be able to compete. But I really think that that's the most resilient that we've ever been because of everything we've been through. So I think a lot of it you just tap into your team and you just love on your team, and I think, great things can happen.
That eruption also pushed Mitchell into the franchise record books. Her 38-point night marked the 11th 30-point game of her career, passing Tamika Catchings for the most in Fever history. It wasn't just a milestone, it highlighted her consistency as a scorer across seasons. Now, in a year where Indiana leans on her heavier than ever, she's averaging nearly 20 points per game, top 5 in the league, and nights like this put her firmly in the MVP conversation. Recognition came immediately. Caitlin Clark, absent for a family matter, posted just 2 words on social media: MVP Kels. Mitchell's brilliance proved the Fever had more than one franchise cornerstone. She wasn't a placeholder waiting for Clark's return, she looked like a centerpiece capable of carrying the roster when everything else was crumbling.
I don't even think there are any words. I mean, when you look at Kelsey's play and you look at what she means to the squad, coming out of that second half and going off the way that she did, I think it kind of speaks for her case in general. She comes out, she defends, she scores the ball, she plays 40 minutes a game, and it's just like, and she still consistently puts up these numbers. I feel like if she's not MVP, shoot.
MVP is crazy. I don't even think I thought about that.
The impact stretched beyond numbers. Indiana's 99-93 overtime win wasn't just emotional, it was historic. It became the largest comeback in franchise history, sparked almost entirely by Mitchell's second-half takeover. Instead of breaking under injuries, foul frustration, and Connecticut's physicality, the Fever used Mitchell's firepower to claw their way back into a playoff position they had been sliding out of. Without that performance, it's another defeat, another season setback. With it, their outlook changed overnight.
In a low stance defensively, matched up with Mitchell, fires up a three. Kelsey Mitchell! Oh my! Mitchell comes back for it with 8.
Great pass.
Sims, up fake, back out, Mitchell. Got Rivers in the air, Kelsey Mitchell again! You betcha! Wow!
But Mitchell's masterpiece wasn't the whole story. Every iconic takeover has unsung heroes who fill the gaps, steady the nerves, and make plays that never trend online. As overwhelming as her scoring was, Indiana still needed contributions from places no one expected to survive the night. What stood out in this comeback was how players who rarely dominate headlines shaped every critical possession. Mitchell may have been the centerpiece, but the win was built on teammates who kept the game within reach when it could have slipped away.
We will never be counted out. Because that is worth gold. That is worth gold. Kels, goddamn baby. Put us on your back. Oh, big time.
Odyssey Sims was the definition of that. Signed on a hardship contract just to keep Indiana's roster intact, she stepped in like she'd been there all season. Sims scored 19 points with 7 assists in extended minutes, but her impact stretched far beyond the box score. She broke Connecticut's press, sliced through traps, and brought calm to the offense whenever it wavered. In a game where the Fever had no natural point guard, Sims became the steady hand, ensuring Mitchell got the ball where and when she needed it.
Mabry knifes off the screen, Charles is doubled.
And Indiana looks like they're in a zone right now.
Kick out and stolen by Mitchell. Explodes 2-on-1, Sims elevates for 2 and a foul.
Bug with their point guards. This is where you have Odyssey Sims coming in. Kelsey Mitchell making a great heads-up play here, but Odyssey Sims has done a great job early on coming in.
Aaliyah Boston was just as vital, anchoring the paint with a stat line that showed both dominance and balance: 14 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Her 15th double-double of the season set a new franchise record. But more than numbers, Boston's presence held Indiana together. She fought off double teams, extended possessions with relentless rebounding, delivered outlets to reset the offense, and erased mistakes with perfectly timed blocks. Her work under the rim was the backbone of Indiana's rally.
Boston backs down Hartley. Aaliyah Boston, excellent post position. Picks up the dribble. Shot clock winding down to 7. Mabry, lob pass. Charles catches. No foul call. That's a huge no call. Looks for cutters. Charles the defense. Back on to Boston. Tina Charles. Backdoor Mitchell pouncing in the paint for 2. 30 points for Mitchell. That's the 4th on Charles.
Can't get caught ball watching right there. Great recognition by Boston as Mitchell makes that backdoor cut.
Then came the shot no one inside the arena will forget. With 44.9 seconds left in overtime, Indiana holding a fragile lead, Lexie Hull slid to the corner and buried a dagger 3. It sealed Connecticut's fate. Her 8 total points don't tell the story, that one shot carried the weight of the entire game. Hull has built her career on grit, defense, and hustle, but on this night, she hit the strike that closed the door.
Shot clock down to 6 for the Fever. Turner, up fake. Turner kicks it. Hull three-pointer. Bottom!
Indiana's just...
Natasha Howard added the bruising edge Indiana desperately needed. She posted 18 points and 9 rebounds, battling Connecticut's size and physicality all night. Howard absorbed hits, pushed bodies off the glass, and attacked the paint to keep Indiana from going one-dimensional. Her scoring burst in the second half came exactly as the Fever were mounting their comeback, giving Mitchell the breathing room to rest before her explosive finish.
Circles back. Howard, assertive, 2 and the foul. Fever fans have come alive and a chance to make this a one-possession game. Wow.
Brianna Turner's contribution was quieter but just as meaningful. Coach White singled her out afterward for the defense she delivered in the second half. Turner's length and activity disrupted Connecticut's rhythm, switching seamlessly across positions, forcing extra passes, and breaking the Suns' offensive flow. The plus-minus told the story, her minutes were difference makers. Even without scoring highlights, Turner supplied the stops that transformed Mitchell's buckets into a true comeback, not empty stats.
You are the consummate professional. We love you, we appreciate you. You were huge. AB, point forward. And like, look, you can't underestimate what it means to have somebody like her who just does whatever we ask, right? Does whatever, I mean, everybody really. Lex, that was a huge toss your activity all night long.
Together, all of these efforts embodied one theme: refusal to collapse. Indiana was already without Caitlin Clark, lost Sophie Cunningham early, and had a depleted backcourt. Yet, one by one, players filled the void. Sims carried the ball. Boston commanded the paint. Howard balanced the scoring. Hull delivered the dagger. Turner reinforced the defense. It wasn't just a star dragging a broken roster, it was a team rising together when everyone expected them to fold. The message was bigger than a single win. Even shorthanded, this Fever team won't be dismissed.
And that's what it's gonna take. Okay, that's what it's gonna take. We gotta play free. We gotta play with no pressure, but we fight. Live that resilience every day. And we will accomplish what we want to accomplish. Okay? Come on.
Yeah. Here we go. Together, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
That was the true revelation from Indiana's victory over Connecticut. It wasn't just grit, it kept their playoff chase alive despite missing Clark and losing Cunningham mid-game. Behind Mitchell's 38-point masterpiece, Sims' unlikely impact, and steady contributions from Boston and Hull, the Fever proved their depth against one of the WNBA's toughest squads. The result, 19-16, firmly in the postseason race. Coach White summed it up best: we will never be counted out. If you stand with Sophie and the Fever, drop a speedy recovery wish in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. Click the video on screen, and we'll see you next time.